Okay. Oh, good. I can see someone from London, Melbourne, where else? KL, Pakistan. Okay. Kuching. Cool. Saudi Arabia, Madagascar. Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. So welcome to the webinar uh, on Agent Development Kit or ADK. So this is a beginner's guide. So I will try to cover the introduction to ADK, and then of course we'll do some demo. Just a reminder, this is not a training, so it's a webinar, so don't expect to do hands-on. So it's just a webinar to do an introduction about ADK. The code is given, so if you have you can, with the code after the webinar, you can go back and give a try on it. Okay, so brief introduction myself. My name is Kuan Hoong. You can call me KH. I'm currently working as a data engineering section lead in Roche. I'm a Google developer expert, GDE, in AI and machine learning. I'm also a AWS community builder in machine learning. I'm very passionate about communities, running communities. So I founded two communities in Malaysia. I founded the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Malaysia user group, and also the Malaysia R user group. So for tomorrow, there is also another meetup, online meetup for AI ML Malaysia. So today is actually just a monthly webinar that I usually do for myself. Uh, so if you want to follow along, please follow my Luma, that you can get updates on all the upcoming webinar that I'll be doing. So please do join me. I can see a lot of people from all over the places. So if you are not connected with me in LinkedIn, please do connect with me in LinkedIn. I'm quite active in LinkedIn. If you have anything, you also get updates about my upcoming events through my LinkedIn. So I shall post all my social media here. Okay. Yeah, as mentioned, I'm from the Artificial and Machine Learning Malaysia. So we are having our monthly meetup every month. So our September meetup will be tomorrow. If you want to join, you can join tomorrow. If you want to know about the event, you just go to this Facebook page and find the Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Malaysia. You can actually get all the updates. Besides Facebook, we also in LinkedIn. We have around 1,000 followers in LinkedIn, so you can also follow us in LinkedIn. Recently, we also started a WhatsApp group for Malaysian. So if you are Malaysian, and you have a Malaysian number, you can join our WhatsApp group. So it's actually to actually get the community in Malaysia to get together, can actually discuss anything related to machine learning. I will share all these slides later. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. We are going to talk about Agent Development Kit, ADK. So of course, before we talk about ADK, we will talk about AI agent. So what is AI agent? We know that ADK, this Agent Development Kit, is actually to help developer to develop agentic apps in a much easier manner. But of course, it's not the first one. There are a few frameworks out there already available before ADK. There is OpenAI Agent ADK, LangGraph, or Crew AI. I will just go through a bit and do some comparison. Then we jump into introduction to Agent Development Kit ADK. So what is ADK? How does ADK work? The purpose of ADK. Then of course the main thing is actually how do we get started with ADK, and we do a demo, and then we will conclude the session. Hi Fawn. Okay, so let's take a step back before we talk about Agent Development Kit. So we try to understand what is AI agent. So in a definition, AI agent is something which is autonomous entity. So an AI agent can actually perceive the environment. So it can actually get various input from the environment. So it also can do reasoning. That means it actually can process information, make decision, and plan action, and then it can also act. Okay, it can execute tasks based on its own reasoning. And of course, any agent should able to adapt and improve the performance over time. That means the AI agent should be able to learn along the way. So for AI agent, okay, this is how an AI agent will look like. Okay, so the user interact with the AI agent through something what we call a prompt. Okay, so of course, if we talk about AI agent, how does it able to perceive, to do reasoning and understand the environment? So the planning, the reasoning of the AI agent is actually powered by the large language model. Okay, so the large language model will understand the context of the prompt. Then he will actually start to understand. He actually knows what the action or what are the response it need to be generated. Okay, and then in any AI agent, okay, when he need to take some action, okay, he's supposed to be able to access the tools. Okay, so that's one important component of an agent, AI agent. It's supposed to be able to access the tools. Okay, remember this. Later when we develop apps using ADK, the component for the tools is also part of it. Is very important. The second component for AI agent is some sort of memory. That means when you're doing a conversation with the AI agent, the AI agent will able to understand or remember the previous conversation. Okay, they're able to store the conversation as long as the session is valid. Okay, so you're able to store all the previous conversation during that session, the active session, and able to retrieve all the conversation which is stored in the memory. Okay, so for AI agent, these two components is very important. Okay, memory and tools. Okay, and then the last one, for every AI agent, there's supposed to be some sort of prompt template or instruction. So if you have developed chatbot before, this is what we call system prompt. Okay, so you have to, for example, say, oh, this you are AI agent for data science. Okay, you are supposed to understand the user requirements of the user, and then you're supposed to do some data analytics, and you're supposed to derive insight from the data. So that's some sort of prompt template or instruction given to the agent. So you can, if you look at this, for any development for any AI agent, it should have this prompt template instruction. It should have some sort of large language model to power the AI agent. It should be able to access the tools, and it should be able to access memory. Okay, imagine you have a scenario. You're supposed to do an airline ticket booking. Okay, so let's say you want to fly from KL to Bangkok. Okay, and then you want to book a ticket for these 3 days. Okay, depending on the weather, for maybe like for example this month and 29, 30th, 31st. Too bad there's no 31st of September. Maybe next month. Okay, so you want to book a ticket for this. You want to find the best weather when you want to fly from KL to Bangkok. Okay, so if you were to develop a system, okay, what will the system need to do? Okay, first of all, the system should be able to check the 3 weather for Bangkok. Okay, then based on the weather, okay, it should be able to make a decision which day is the best day to buy a ticket. Okay, then it should be able to find, based on the day they selected, it should be able to go and find the flight info. Okay, so imagine if you were to develop an app. Okay, you have an app to maybe to check the weather, then based on the weather to choose a day to buy the ticket, and then go and access the information for the flight. Okay, now you can do all this using AI agent. Okay, so a user will request to a client agent. Okay, the client agent will check the weather from the weather agent. The weather agent will respond back the result. Okay, then the client agent will do the booking through the ticketing agent, and then the ticketing agent will return the result. Okay, and then it will show back the result to the user. Okay, so you can see there here, this is not just one agent. This is a multi-agent system. Okay, so agent with different system should be able to communicate with each other and should be able to collaborate and working as one. Okay, so one of the ways protocol that actually been introduced recently by Google is called the A2A protocol. So A2A protocol is one of the ways to actually facilitate the communication between agent to agent. So it doesn't matter the agent is powered or developed using different large language model. Okay, for example, client agent might be using Gemini, ticketing agent might be developed using OpenAI, or maybe weather agent is developed using DeepSeek or something like that. Okay, so last time, okay, you have only one agent, and the agent to communicate to each other, to other agents, they will have some difficulty. Now there is a protocol that actually facilitates the communication between multi-agent. Okay, so as mentioned just now, ADK, Agent Development Kit, is not the last framework, the latest framework available out there. So before ADK, there already other AI agent development framework. Okay, so basically all this agentic framework is actually a building block for you to develop, deploy, and manage your AI agent. There are many software platforms that already have all these built-in features and function that allow you to streamline and speed up the process. Okay, so these are some of the popular AI agent framework out there. So one of it is from Microsoft. So Microsoft have something called AutoGen. Okay, and then OpenAI has its own called Agent ADK. Okay, it's actually Agent SDK. Then we have LangGraph from LangChain. Okay, then there's something called Crew AI. So you can see that before ADK, they already has all these framework out there. Okay. So if you look at all the framework out there, okay, if you compare, okay, from ADK with LangGraph or Crew AI, AutoGen, so you can see all of them. They have their own strength or con. For example, for ADK, it's actually very good for workflow. If you're building your app using Gemini or Google Cloud integration, it's very good for it. Okay, so remember, when you develop an agent app, okay, you need to deploy the app. Okay, the integrated system where it's easier for you to develop and deploy the app. That will be the framework that you want to choose. Okay, for LangGraph, okay, it has a very good ecosystem because it's supported by LangChain. So long time ago, when people want to develop chatbot, okay, LangChain is already available out there. Now you can actually build on top of LangChain. You can build like a graph, okay, where you can actually they can actually act like an agent, AI agent. Okay, so it's actually a graph-based control flow. Then there's a Crew AI. So Crew AI is actually very good when you develop agent, when you give for certain roles. Okay, for example, let's say you are multi-agent. Okay, for example, you are building a system for processing this CV from people who apply for a job. So you probably have an agent to look through all the CV. You probably have an agent to assess the CV. Then you probably have an agent to actually manage the interview and also do the online assessment, whatever. So Crew AI is actually a role-based design where you design every agent with a certain roles and goals. And AutoGen is actually a more conversation kind of agent framework. So it's actually all event driven, and then it's actually treat the multi-agent system in a more conversation manner. Okay, so every framework has its own pros and cons. If you look at ADK, this is the best use case for ADK. Okay, so you look at here, these are all the framework out there. Okay, so like said, you have LangChain, you have GenKit, okay, then you have all the agentic framework out there, like I mentioned just now, Crew AI or LangGraph or this AutoGen. Sorry, let me continue again. So you can see where is ADK. So ADK is actually in here, where it's actually framework where it's actually easy to use, in the middle of easy to use, and it's actually quite flexible. Okay, there are some solution where, for example, agent space and conversation agent, there are some which is low flexibility and is very easy to use. There are some very hard to use where you need to, for example, build your own agentic framework. But something that you can build on your own could be very flexible because you can adapt to your requirement, but it could be very hard to use. Okay, so that's where ADK come in. So you know that if you are a software developer, you probably use SDK, okay, software developer kit. Okay, so ADK is actually something like a SDK. So ADK is an agent development kit. Okay, so a lot of people will confuse ADK. They call it agent developer kit, but it's not. It's actually agent development kit. Okay, so in ADK, the agent development kit is actually help you to create AI agent where you can understand, reason, and take action. Okay, so you actually bridge your code between all the large language model out there. That means it doesn't matter what large language model you want to choose to power your agent, AI agent. You can build on top of it. Later I will show you. Actually, to build a simple agent, it's just like 5 lines of code. So in ADK, basically it's allow you to build, evaluate, and deploy your AI agent where with your code which is highly flexible. So it's a ADK. One good thing about it is actually open foundation. That means it's open source. Okay, so it's actually model agnostic. It doesn't matter which model that you want to use to power your AI agent. Okay, of course, if you are using Gemini, okay, it's very well integrated for Gemini, but you can choose any other model out there. Okay, and then ADK is deployment agnostic. Okay, so if you want, remember when you develop any system, you want to deploy it and then you want to the user to use it. So for this ADK, if this deployment is agnostic, you can deploy in any services out there. For example, you can deploy in Google Cloud, you can deploy in Microsoft Azure or whatever. And it's also interoperability. That's also very important. So with ADK, it's a developer focused SDK where you can actually use the ADK to build in something that already have a memory and session support. Remember just now I told you your agent have 2 components, the tools and the memory. So it already taken care of all the memory and session support for you. Okay, it has a lot of tool exception. Okay, you can actually use, for example, Google search and other tools out there or connect to any API. It's also easy to deploy. One, of course, because it's from Google. If you want to deploy in Google Cloud, you can actually just deploy into your Vertex AI agent engine, and it's also model agnostic. It's compatible with any other model. Of course, Gemini model is well supported. So with ADK, just like SDK, it actually make agent development feel like software development. So what is inside ADK? So inside ADK, you have like your agent. Remember, you need to build your agent. You can actually have tools. Okay, one of the important components for any AI agent. Then you have orchestration because remember, when you build an AI agent, it could be one agent or it could be multiple agents. So when you have multiple agents, you need to have a process where you can manage all the agents. Okay, so you have session management, you can deploy, okay, memory, you can have artifact management, you can execute your code, and you can debug, you can trace, you can. These are all the tools available out there inside. Come with ADK. So with ADK, you have multi-agent system, pre-built community tools, support for evaluation, debugging, deploy for, and then fully manage agent infrastructure, collaborate with documents, session memories, conversation, and then you could have callback to invoke any function inside your code flow. Okay, so in ADK, okay, so during the runtime, okay, for end user, you can interact with the agent by providing query. So inside the AI agent, you will remember just now you powered by a large language model. You can actually define what language model that you want to use. Okay. Then inside there, the AI agent will have a brain, will do all the orchestration. Okay, for example, what's the goal instruction, and then you have a memory, short-term memory, long-term memory. Beside that, you also can access the tools, okay, API, MCP, function, database, or agent. Okay, so the key component, you have models, okay, you have tools that can actually do all the data fetching, perform action, transaction, calling for API services, do all the orchestration, maintain all the memory states, and then execute the system when invoked. Okay, so later I'll show you there's a few ways you can actually run your agent. Okay, so inside the ADK, of course, the main component will be the agent. So AI agent is a self-contained execution unit. Okay, it's supposed to act autonomously to achieve certain goals. Okay, so agent can perform tasks, interact with user. Okay, all these agent is actually part of the what we call the base agent class. Okay, so later I'll show you there are many different type of agent out there you can develop using ADK. All of these are actually they're all subset of this base agent. So the three core agent categories out there. The first one is what we call large language model agent. So large language model agent basically is like a chatbot lah. Okay, so the agent will use the large language model to do reasoning, planning, tool use, and then flexible language tasks. Okay, so the agent, okay, when you give a prompt to the AI agent, the agent will use the large language model to understand what you try to do, and then he will actually execute the task according to what he understands. Okay, that is a normal large language model agent. Okay, sometimes, okay, you do not want everything to be decided by the large language model. Okay, you want to manage something like a workflow. That means one agent, agent 1, after agent 1 go to agent 2, after agent 2 go to agent 3. So that is what we call a workflow agent. Okay, so a workflow agent, that means you, the user, define how the agent, okay, will execute the flow. Okay, so you can have the agent execute in a sequential, parallel, or in a loop. Okay, so for today's session, I will show you the difference between LLM agent and one workflow agent. Of course, the most flexible, okay, is when you build your agent from scratch. Okay, you build your agent from scratch. So for custom agent, you can extend your own unique logic. You can do all your own control flow, and you can have a specialized integration. So basically, it looks something like this. Okay, so you have three types of agent: the LLM based agent, the workflow agent, and the custom agent. So they are all extension from the base agent. So the large language LLM agent will use the large language model to do the reasoning, assess the tools, and then do transfer. But sometimes, like I mentioned just now, you do not want the action to be non-deterministic. Okay, you want it to be deterministic. That means you define how the agent works. Okay, so you can define it as a sequential agent. Okay, that means A, then agent A, then go to agent B, then go to agent C. Or you can have several agents work together in parallel. So that's what we call parallel agent. Or you can have an agent in a loop. That means, let's say agent A go to agent B, go to agent C, after that go back to agent A again. So that is a loop agent. Okay, the last one, of course, if you build your own custom agent. Okay, so depend on your own use case, you can choose to build a normal LM agent, or you can build what we call workflow agent, or you can build all the agents from scratch. So the difference is, okay, the LM agent, workflow agent, custom agent. Okay, so you can see the LM agent is powered by the large language model. For workflow agent, the user will define the predefined logic. Okay, of course, the custom agent will have their own custom logic. So for large language model agent, LM agent is non-deterministic. Okay, that means sometimes the large language model will decide, oh, I need to do this first. Okay, or sometimes the agent will do other thing. So sometimes you might not able to control what is the actual output from the LLM agent. Okay, for workflow agent is very deterministic. okay, and very predictable because you define how the agent will interact. Okay, so when will you use LLM agent, when will you use workflow agent, and when will you use custom agent? So if you're doing something like a language task, that means you ask something and then the agent will respond back to you like a chatbot. Then you use LM agent. But if you want to use something very structured, that means let's say agent A finish, then go to agent B, then go to agent C, then you will use a workflow agent. Okay. Of course, if you something that is very unique, then you use custom agent. So how does ADK work? Okay. So ADK is very modular based. That means you can build the agent like a building block. Okay, you can build the whole agent core, then you add tools, and then you add maybe services, API, whatever. Okay, then you can also collaborate and orchestrate the agent. That means you can have the way agent, how do they work together, and then of course remember just now one of the important component for agent is the ability. So the agent supposed to access to tools. So any agent now can actually access tools. A tools can be a Python function, or a tools can be API, or a tools can be access to this MCP server, call for MCP. Okay, so now let's get how do we get started? Okay, so to get started for this ADK, first thing is for ADK now there are only two languages supported. Two languages, one is Python, one is Java. For today, I'm going to just focus on the Python. So if you want to develop ADK, at least you need to know Python. Okay, so Python programming, you need to understand Python before you can develop your own ADK. Second thing is, of course, because ADK AI agent is powered by large language model, you at least know what is large language model, how to call the API, and the concept of agent itself. Okay. And third, you should able to have access to the large language model that you prefer. Okay, if you are using Gemini, then you can get the API key from Google AI Studio. If you are using OpenAI, you can get the API for OpenAI. If you're using DeepSeek, you can just use OpenDeepSeek, or like I think someone Win Lim said Open Router, yeah, something like that. Later I will show you. I also have Olama. I use Gemma. So I actually downloaded the whole Gemma onto my local computer. ADK also can access to my own local LLM. Okay, so how to get started? Okay, so like I mentioned just now, there's two programming language supported for ADK. One is Python and Java. So for Python, you just have to pip install google-adk. Okay, so for Java, you have to just install this. Okay, so the only thing that you need is just pip install google-adk. Okay. Okay, next thing is the project for your this AI agent. It follow a certain project structure. Okay, first you must have your project root folder. Inside your project root folder, you have your agent. Okay, so this is the different type of agent that you have. Okay, so I have later I will show you. I have developed multi-agent folder. Let me show you. So this is my folder. So my ADK folder. So this is my root folder. So inside my root folder, you can see I have a DeepSeek agent, I have a GitHub MCP agent, Google Map MCP. So this is all the agent that I have. So inside every single folder, if I go to maybe GitHub MCP, inside there we'll have this agent .py file and the init py file. Okay. So it will look something like this. So you have your project root folder. Inside there you have all your different agents that you have. Okay, so you have an agent folder, and then you have the two files. Okay, you have the init.py and the agent file. Okay, so inside the init file you just have to have this line, which is from.import agent. Okay, so now I'm going to do a demo for a simple weather agent. Okay, so this weather agent basically, okay, so this weather agent basically is your user can actually ask, okay, give a prompt, what is the weather now in NYC? So the AI agent, this is a normal LLM agent. So the LLM agent will understand that, okay, you receive the prompt, he understand what you need to do. Then he will call two tools that are available inside the AI agent. One of the tools is called get weather, another tool is called get local time. Okay, so then he will return based on the tools. You get the result for city New York, and you get the time for New York. Then he return the result. The agent will process the result, formulate the response, and show back that, okay, the weather for New York now is how many degrees of Celsius and what's the time now. Okay, so this is a simple demo for a simple weather agent. Okay, so the code will look something like this. Okay, so you have a agent. Okay, then for every agent in the py file, there's only 4 lines of code that you need to do. First, every agent must have a unique name. Okay, so this is the name that you're going to call for this agent. Okay, if your screen is not, you can use your mouse to adjust the screen. You can go and drag it, make it larger. Okay, so this is the four things you need to give to an agent. One is a name, then what is the model, large language model that you want to use. Okay, so for here I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. Then you should have a description and you should have an instruction. Remember just now I told you about instruction. This is a system prompt. Okay, a description will just give a short description. What is this agent all about? Okay, this is the 4 things that you need to put for AI agent. Then, okay, the last one is the agent will access the tools. Okay, so there are 2 tools that the agent is able to access, which is the get weather and get current time. That's all. Okay, to run this simple AI weather agent, this is the simple things. Okay, so if you have read about most of the agent out there now, okay, if you are using this large language model, you have a model card. Okay, here the same, you have an agent card. So the agent card basically will get what the agent will do based on the description. Okay, so later, okay, in the future, people can develop any agent, and then the agent can available in marketplace, and people can subscribe to the agent. But how do they know what is this agent all about? Based on the description. Okay, so the description here is the agent will answer questions related to weather and time and the city. So this is a system prompt, like I mentioned. You are a helpful agent who can answer user questions about time and weather, and then the tools. Okay. Okay, so to run and test your agent, there's first of all, you need to navigate to your parent folder, which is this directory. Okay, then you can actually run using the command called ADK web. Okay, so ADK web will open up Angular based web-based interface. Okay, where you can access using your browser at this URL. Okay, 127.0.0.1 port 8000. Okay, and okay, so how do you beside ADK web, what are other ways you can run your AI agent using ADK? Okay, so if you use ADK web just now, you can get a web UI which is Angular based. You can interact with your agent inside your web browser. Okay, if you do not want to interact your agent in the web browser, you can also interact with in the command line just using ADK run. Okay, ADK run. If beside ADK run, ADK web, you also can convert your agent into API server. Then you can interact with the API server, and of course you also can run it as a Python code in a more programmatic way. I will show you these 3 ways that you can actually run your AI agent later. Okay, so this is how the AI agent will look like in the ADK web. So when you run the ADK web, you get something like this. Okay, So that means ADK already have an interface for you to test your agent before deployment. Okay, so for example here, when I say hello, okay, he will ask me hello, okay, he will say that I can actually provide current time and city, okay, and then I will say what is the time and now for New York. So once I give this prompt, okay, the AI agent based on the large language model will understand the context that I need the time for New York. So he will go and call the tools that allow the agent to actually find the local time for New York. So he'll call the tool which is this get current time. Then he will return back the current time for New York is this. Okay. So here, if you look at the side here, you can see there are many things. You can see all the event happen, the state, the artifacts in the session, and then you can do all evaluation. Later I'll do demo, you can see all those things. So once you click on the respond, the ADK web will show you that, okay, this agent is called weather underscore time underscore agent. You have two tools available. One of the two is get weather and one of the two is get current time. So since I asked for current time, okay, you call the get current time tools, okay, and then you can see these are all the event happen, the request and the response. Okay, so with ADK web, okay, it allows you as a developer to access your agent and see all the event happen, okay, inside when there's an interaction with the agent. Okay, so if I now ask about what is the weather for New York, okay, he will know now that he will call the tool for get weather. If I click on this get weather, you can see now this agent is calling this tool called get weather, and these are all the event happen. Yeah, and then he return back the result. The weather in New York now is sunny, and the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you formulate the response back to the user. Okay, let's go to demo. So before I go demo, I have all the code just now I show you inside my GitHub. So if you go to my GitHub, so you can see these are all the agents that I have, DeepSeek, GitHub, all the other agents. Of course, the main agent that I will show you later is an agent, multiple agent. You have an agent called scriptwriter, visualization, formatter, and then loop agent. So these I will show you later. Okay, so how to get started? Let me see. Clear. Oops. Let me. Okay, so let me deactivate. So to run ADK, first of all, you need to install you need to have created this virtual environment for your Python. Okay, so I have created my virtual environment. So I'm going to activate my virtual environment now. So I have activated my virtual environment. Then I'm going to do install the Google ATK. So you can type pip install Google ATK. But I'm not going to use pip install. I'm going to use something called UV now. Oops, sorry. So UV add Google ATK. Then I also have something called like LLM. Like LLM is allow you to actually access to different model out there beside Gemini. Okay, so I have all these installed already. Now what I can do is, okay, if I show you what's inside my folder, I have so many other folder out there. Okay, I have so many agents that I developed. Okay, so I can show you the simple one. So ADK run simple agent. Okay, so this simple agent is using Olama. Okay, so you can see this simple agent, so you say hi, let me ask a question, hi. So now it's running Gemma 3 and then it's using Olama. Okay, so I'm using my local machine. So now I just want to show you that I have developed an agent using Olama as my large language model. Okay, because it's a local, it takes some time. You need to load up all my Olama. This Gemma 3 is about 3 gig. It will take some time, but it is working. So it is something that you can actually run your own local model without calling any API model out there. Let's wait for a while. Okay, so say hi there, welcome. How can I help you? Looking for blah blah blah. You can see it's working. Okay, let me control out there. Okay, okay. So now let's say I want to start I want to create my first app, agent app. So you can put ADK create, okay, and give a name. I will say my app. Okay, so you just use ADK create. Okay, so ADK create. So when you ask ADK create, he will ask you, okay, do you want to use which model that you want, Gemini 2.5 Flash or something later? Okay, so I say Gemini. I will say, let's say I use Gemini Flash. Do you want to choose your model from Google AI or Vertex AI? Okay, so Google AI means you can get your API key from aistudio.google.com, or Vertex AI, you can get your API key from your Google GCP. So let's say I say Google AI. Okay, then I just simply type my API key. Okay, then he will create the 3 skeleton file that I need. Remember just now I showed you the project structure. You need to have a .env to store your API key. You have the init file, and then you have an agent file. Okay, so how does it look like? I will go to Virtual Studio. Let me open up my folder. So I have my app just now. Open. So you can see it created the 3 file for me. Init, which is just from .import agent. Then you have the environment file. You're supposed to key in your Google API key here. And then you have your agent py. Okay, so you get agent py file. You can see you have like few line of code. You already develop your first. Let me few line of code. You already develop your first. Sorry. See, you just have to define the model, give a unique name to your agent. So this here is root agent. Give a description and then give instruction. So the instruction here will be a system prompt, and then you are ready to go. You already created your first AI agent. Okay, simple as that. Okay, then you can run your AI agent. So let's say now I want to run my AI agent. Okay, let's close it. Go back to my. Okay, so now I can run. I can use ADK run. Just now I show you. Another one is called ADK web. Just type ADK web. Okay, you say that okay, you can run now. You can see your web, your it's actually running at this URL here. So I go back here. Sorry, here. Let me refresh this. So inside my ADK web, you can see I have all the agents that I have inside my. You see, I have DeepSeek agent, GitHub agent, Google Map, multi tools, and then the my app just now I created, and then programmatic simple agent, and then YouTube agent. Okay, let me try this. So in this multi-agent tools, I use something which is just recently released by Google called Gemini Live. Okay, so let's try. Hi. Hi.
Hello there. How can I help you today?
Can you tell me the weather for New York? Hi. Okay, seems like it's not working, but basically now you can also interact with okay, let me try again. Okay, it's not working. We have having problem. Let me try again. Okay, so one you can see now my agent can actually interact with me using voice also, using because I've developed using the I'm using the Gemini live model. Anyway, let me show you other agent out there. I can have a DeepSeek agent. Okay, so I can ask, hi. Okay, so you say I'm a weather agent. Okay, so this model I will show you in my code. Oops. So how does it look like? Open the folder. So this is using DeepSeek. So the code is very simple. Okay, I have an agent, and then I use the model DeepSeek here. Okay, so DeepSeek model. So that, as I mentioned just now, beside Gemini, you can use any other model out there. So I have a DeepSeek API. I can just call DeepSeek model. Then I have a tools. The tool is one of the tools to get weather, and then one of the tools to get time. So when I run the code, when I run it, so you say, okay, now tell me the weather for New York. Okay, so he will understand that I want the call the weather. So he will call the tools called get weather. Okay, and then he will return back the weather result, this one. So you can see if I click on this, I can check that, okay, this is where the agent, which is called the weather time agent, is accessing the tools called get weather, and then this is the event happened, and then this is response. So you can see the request here being passed from from the prompt, and this is the response back. Okay, all in the JSON format. So if I ask again, tell me the time. Tell me the time for New York now. Okay, so he will know that now I'm supposed to get the tools, get current time. Okay, and then he will return back the time. Okay, so now New York is 9:59 a.m. So if we click on this, okay, if you see the event, you can see now it's actually accessing to the get current time. Okay, so you can see this DeepSeek agent, okay, this DeepSeek agent is a normal agent where is the response is determined by the model. This is what we call the LLM agent. Okay, but how about if I want the agent to be more deterministic? Okay, so more deterministic. So then I will need to develop something like this. Oops. Okay, so now I want to develop agent where I have a parent agent called YouTube Shop agent. So this YouTube Shop agent, okay, will have three sub agents. Okay, the scriptwriter agent, the visualization agent, and the formatter agent. Okay, then it also have tools that it can access, which is the Google search tools. Okay, so I will show you this YouTube Shop agent. So if I go back to my, sorry, if I go back to here, the YouTube Shop agent, sorry. So if I select the YouTube Shop agent, so I can write write me a script on how to build AI agent. So this agent supposed to write a script, okay, to say, okay, I'm going to write a script to build AI agent. To start, I need the information. What do I need? Target audience, the tone, key message, everything. So I said the target audience supposed to be developer. Then the tone supposed to be serious. And then the key message is no key message, call to action, subscribe. Okay, then he will actually understand. Okay, now he will say, okay, I will create the AI agent for you. The tone should be serious and they subscribe. So he will actually use the short script writer. Then he will write the script and then he generate the visual, short visualizer, and then you can see he will pass and then to the concept formatter. Okay, you can see. So this is a YouTube short that I have written by the three agents just now, which is the scriptwriter agent, then the short visualizer agent, and the concept formatter agent. So this is so we say, okay, first build the agent, break it down for every timeline, and then the visual should be clean or whatever. Okay, and then subscribe for developer tips. So this is how you can see in your event what will happen if you click on this. So you will first go to this short scriptwriter, then you go to the second one, which is the visualizer, then you go to the last one, which is the formatter. Okay, and you can see now you have one agent coordinating with three other agents. Okay, so this is how the agent will look like when you have multiple agents working together. Okay, let me go back to the slide. So inside there you can see I have one agent, which is the scriptwriter agent, visualization agent, formatter agent. Okay, then you can run, like I said, I can run it using ADK run, ADK web. I run it using ADK web just now. I also can run ADK run actually if I want to run in the command prompt that I showed you just now. So for here, what the ADK has done for you, he has actually managed for you, okay, the session. So whenever you create, so when you go here, when you go to your ADK web here, there's already a session being, you can see the session here. The session is being managed by the ADK web. Okay, so the session is already been managed for this, all the execution logic, all the callback, all the services, memory, all are being managed during the ADK runtime. Okay, so for you, the user, when you run your agent, these are all being managed by you, by the ADK for you already. Okay, but sometimes, like I mentioned just now, you might want to define the agent in your own workflow. Okay, so you do not want to be non-deterministic. You want it to be according to the structure that you want. Okay, for example here, you want it to be sub-agent 1, run, finish, go to sub-agent 2, go to sub-agent 3. Okay, then there will be something like a condition. If the condition is met, it will exit the loop. If the condition is not met, it will go back the loop again. So basically, a loop agent basically consists of several sequential agents. Okay, so we can actually write our own workflow agent. Okay, so this example is to show you how the workflow agent will look like. Okay, so let me show you the workflow agent, the code. So if I go and open up the folder, so loop agent. So you can see the loop agent basically, if you look at the agent, so basically you have one sub-agent, okay, second sub-agent, third sub-agent, then you have the main agent. So for here, instead of using the normal agent just now, we call this a loop agent. So in the loop agent here, we say we have a unique name, which is a YouTube shop agent. Then you say, I want it to loop 3 times. And what are the sub-agents? Which is the scriptwriter, visualization, formatter. That means now you follow this sequence. From scriptwriter first, go to visualizer, go to formatter agent. Then you loop these 3 times. Once you finish, then you exit the loop. You can see even though we are writing a loop agent, the code is also pretty short. And every sub agent is just a normal LLM agent, okay, with the unique instruction, and the instruction you can put into a txt file. For example, it's just for example here, to write a script, this is the instruction you need to follow, and then to write a visualization, this is the instruction you need to follow. Okay, so if I want to run the loop agent, let me exit this. Okay, where's my loop agent? Sorry. Okay, so if I go back to my loop agent, let me close this. Go to my loop agent. So again, I say maybe write me a script, fun script for kayaking for beginner. Okay, so he say he's a pro, cannot fulfill request. Okay, let me. You see now it's actually looping 3 times. Okay, never mind. I give another. But the looping is correct, but because the command is not working, never mind. I will try again. Okay, so for this case now, I ask him to write a script for building AI agent. Okay, so you can see now he's actually building AI agent with the hook. Then he will go to the next agent. Then he go to the next agent, and he will able to loop accordingly, sequentially for 3 times. So for every single event here, you can actually check it out. For example, here you can see this is the loop. Okay, so you have the script. Okay, you will go to the visualization, and then you go to the formatter and loop again. For the script, you actually use a tool which is the Google search. You actually search the relevant content and come back with the result. Okay, so you can see it's looping according to the sequence that we defined earlier in our code. So you will not jump around. Okay, you follow the sequence that we defined. Okay, the last one that I want to show you is this one. Okay, of course, the most important thing that you can actually do with the agent is to access to MCP, Model Context Protocol. So your ADK is already built with MCP client. You can access to any MCP server that you want. Okay, then you can access to a lot of tools. Okay, for example, we can build an agent that can actually access to GitHub MCP. So you have a GitHub MCP server. Then from there, you can access to any GitHub that you want. Okay, and then you can define the model that you want to use. So for this case here, I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. Okay, and then to add MCP, connect to MCP server, you just have to do something like this. Use the tools called MCP toolset, then just connect to your MCP server. Define the connection that you want, and then of course provide the relevant authentication. So for here, I'm using the GitHub MCP. The tools I can have is search repo, search issues, list all the issues, get issues, or pull requests. So I can do something like this. For example, if I use this my app here where I already connect to my GitHub MCP, I can say, can you provide me the repo for username Kuan Hoong? he will use the tools called search repo. Then he will find all the repo under Kuan. Okay, then he said, can I say how many repo are available under Kuan? He will say he will use this search repo, and then you count, he will return back 52 repos. Okay, so with this MCP, it allow you to connect to whatever tools that you want to use, as long as you can make a connection to the MCP. Okay, so the code for the, before I end this, the code for this MCP will look something like this. Rush this. So open folder. So let's say GitHub MCP. So it's the same. You have just 3 files: init, environment, and agent py. You can see the code is very short. So I'm using Gemini. Then the instruction is to help user mapping. Okay, this is actually yeah. So basically, you can see this is how the connection with MCP will look like, and then this is the tools available. Okay. Beside that, I also have tools for. I also can connect to MCP Google Map. Let me show you Google Map. So for Google Map, you can see it's the same. I'm using Gemini, and then this is how I connect to my Google Map. Okay, so there's a Google Map MCP. So for Google Map MCP, what can you do? For example, if I go back to my ADK web, so if I go back, okay, you can see now I've run it 3 times already, it's finished. If I go back to my ADK web, Google Map MCP, so this one is actually connected to a Google Map API, direction from KLCC to KL Central. Okay, so you can able to access to the map API, and then you can see now it will show you that, okay, to connect to from KLCC to KL Central, you go to Jalan Hang, Kasturi, Lembu Pasar, and all those things. This is coming from the previous one, okay, but you can see the Google Map API is working, and then because I'm connected to my Google Map this MCP. So all this code that you want to try, you can go to my GitHub. For example, for the Google Map here is here. Where's Google? Here. You can see the code is here also. Okay, so here's a conclusion. So ADK definitely is a fundamental shift on the AI development. Now, instead of writing complex prompt and managing intricate workflow, you can focus on what the agent can do with all the tools and functions available, how it should behave by providing the instruction, and what kind of model that you can use. So you know that it's a model agnostic. You can use any other model besides Gemini, and the framework will handle the rest. So thank you. Okay, do you have any questions, or let me ask? You can ask questions. Yeah, the slide will be shared, no worries.